welcome to another episode of Exploring Photography right here on Adorama TV. I'm Mark Wallace, and today it's the Fling-A-Ma-Jig. This is a video that I have been working on for months, and it's really going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be flinging stuff in the midair. We're going to be splashing and crashing and bashing and doing all kinds of stuff. And we're doing this for a reason. Number one, to have fun. Number two, to learn about synchronizing our camera with an object in midair. How do we trigger the camera to fire at the right time? How do we freeze motion of something in the air? How do we do that in different ways? How can we do that with constant light? How can we do that with the strobe? Can we do that with a fast shutter speed? How do we do all that stuff? So I built a crazy gadget called the Fling-A-Ma-Jig. It's this thing right here. And so this was a ton of fun. I could probably make a long video about how this was created, but the short version of this is my brother, who is a CAD expert. He has been designing things in 3D for 30-something years. If you've flown on a plane in the last 20 years, you're most likely flown in something that he designed. It's really awesome, or he drew up and was built. So he's been in the aerospace industry for many, many decades. So he helped me learn how to do CAD in Fusion 360. So I designed all this stuff from a crazy idea I had in my head. And then my friend Keith Kessler helped me learn how to do 3D printing. So that was a total side project, which was a blast. Anyway, so I came up with this thing, the Fling-A-Ma-Jig, that also my brother Manon, I have to say, by force of brutality from my older brother, he thought of the name. So Fling-A-Ma-Jig, what happens is you basically have one side, this side over here, it's called the smash head. You push that down violently, and the other side goes up. And so what happens is when you push this down, this flings something in midair like this. This is a little wrench thing that we're going to be using. So I'm going to smash this down. Wow! That goes flying up. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be flinging stuff in midair, water balloons. We're going to be smashing glass, doing all kinds of fun stuff. But we're doing that to learn two things, or maybe even three things. The first thing is, how do we get the camera to fire when the thing is in midair? How do we synchronize those two things and so we get a picture every time? Number two, how do we freeze the motion? How do we freeze the thing that is exploding or crashing or smashing in midair? How do we freeze that? And how do we get all that timing worked out? Well, I've built some crazy gadgets and we have some devices here. And so we're going to work through this one step at a time. And we're going to be problem solving and exploring. It's going to be a lot of fun. So grab a coffee, strap in, and here we go. We're going to do all of this next. Step one, we have to figure out how to take this when we push down this side of the Fling-A-Ma-Jig and make the camera take a photo. Well, this red piece of the Fling-A-Ma-Jig right here, this is just a teachable piece, this red piece. These are actually interchangeable pieces. That's the fun part of the Fling-A-Ma-Jig. So this is going to come off, and I'm going to replace it with a different smash head. And so that different smash head is right here. So we'll attach that in a second. So the way this works, I'm going to lift this up. There is a cutout here where a remote control fits in exactly. And then there's this little nubbin right there, and that little nubbin presses the button on the remote control. So here is our Canon timer remote control. This is a TC80N3, links in the description. And so all this does is when you push the button on this, it tells the camera to take a picture. So I don't know if you can hear that, but the camera is taking a picture. And so I have built this so this fits over this exactly. And so if I push this, it takes a photo, but because it fits over this exactly, as hard as you push it, it's only going to push the button. It won't hurt the remote control at all, so you can, and it's not going to hurt the remote control. So this will smash down on that. That will make the trigger, that will trigger the camera, and it will also fling stuff in the air. And so that's how we're going to get our trigger to work. So let me put this on there. We're going to tape this all down, make sure everything is exactly aligned, and then we're going to try it out. I have taped down this remote control here on the table, so it's not going to move around. I have taped down the Fling-A-Ma-Jig, so now when I push this down, it triggers the camera, and I can really hit it, and it's not going to mess up my remote control at all, which means I can fling stuff way up in the air, and that's the fun that we want to have. The problem is if I take a picture right now, well, my camera isn't seeing anything because it is at ISO 100, f13, 160th of a second. And in this light, even with the video lights, it sees nothing. It's completely black because it's eliminating all the ambient light, which means we need to freeze whatever's flying off the Fling-A-Ma-Jig with a flash. And so what I have here is I have my Elinchrom ELC 500, and I have it set to the lowest power setting. And because of that, I have this really nice silver reflector here. In fact, I'll just show you. It's very, very silver and bright, and that takes and scoops up all the light, and it throws it out. And so even at the lowest power setting, this flash is going to output about f13 to f16. We have a lot of power at this close range, and that's going to be enough power to overpower the ambient light and give us enough depth of field that we see anything that's splashing, crashing, banging, whatever. But we got to figure out, like, how do we make this flash work? Well, the way we need to do that, first, we have to focus, and then we'll turn that on. And so to help me out, Sierra Olson is here. So what we need to do first is I'm going to put some stuff on the Fling-A-Ma-Jig, and I'm going to put it up in the air, and we're going to manually focus. And so is that in focus? It is. So we framed up the camera on the tripod to sort of get something floating in midair here. That's all focused. And then the next thing we need to do is, Sierra, could you turn on the remote control? So we have an Elinchrom transmitter on the camera. And so now it is going to trigger that flash. So anytime I push this down, it takes a picture, it makes the flash fire. Everything is working. All right, so our camera's working, our flash is working. Let's talk just really quickly about this power setting and why we're using this big reflector and what this flash is all about. It's all about getting the shortest possible flash duration. And so, because our camera doesn't see anything but the light from the flash. That means the only thing the camera sees is what the light illuminates, and for as long as it illuminates. So this flash turns on and off in about 1/10,000th of a second. Just 1/10,000th of a second, a really short slice of time. That's faster than my camera's shutter, which is 8,000th of a second at the fastest. And so we can shoot at essentially 10,000th of a second at f13 and get some really cool stuff. So how do I know that that's 10,000th of a second? Well, I've got my Seikonic light meter here. This is an L858DU. It's got a radio trigger inside, so I can hit this. It makes the flash fire. It's really awesome. So what we're going to do here is we're going to meter this flash duration. And when we look at this, you can see that's 1/10,300th of a second. Super fast. And we can even put this a little chart here, and you can see that the light turns on and off. Just a short flash of time. I have an entire video about what I just did, that short flash duration and metering all of those things and what those values mean. I have included a link in the description of this video to flash duration and metering, all that stuff I just talked about. It's a whole video about what I just did. The point is, when we look at this, and I looked at all the different values of this flash and others, I wanted the shortest flash duration possible, and I get that with my ELC 500, which is really cool. Okay, now let's see if this actually does something. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to stand to the side, and I'm going to smash this down, and let's see if we get a photo. Here we go. Bam! And so I can't see the other side of that. I think we got a picture. Do we have a picture? Yeah? Okay, Sierra's going to check. And it looks like, yes, we have a photo of our little wrench floating in midair. And so everything worked exactly as planned. And so now I think it's time for us to start flinging some stuff and having fun. And then we're going to move on to this smash head, which does something very special. We're going to get there next. But first, let's try this out and see what we get. It's time to fling some stuff, and there's much flinging and crashing coming, and I want to give you a preview of the stuff that we're going to be smashing and crashing. We have some very inexpensive wine glasses that we are going to destroy. We're going to smash these. If you've noticed this thing hanging down, we are going to suspend these upside down and smash them in midair, hoping to cause all kinds of chaos. We're going to attach these. I've made a custom attachment here that we're going to put on the Fling-A-Ma-Jig to try to fling stuff into midair from inside those, do some Photoshop wackiness. I've got food color in these little things, so we'll be filling this up with different colors of food. We've got some Jell-O that I forgot to make, but the powder might be cool going everywhere. We've got some little sprinkly things right here that I'm going to be putting in there, and then water balloons that we're going to explode with a needle attached to this, hopefully, bam, and then just plain old water. Why not? We have covered the floor of this with plastic, and I'm sure that you're seeing already a problem that we have to address pretty darn quickly, and that is all this stuff is too close. So we don't want water flying over the camera. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna solve that problem in a minute, but first, let's just fling some stuff. So to start with, let's start making a mess. I've got some little sprinkles here. I'm gonna throw those in, and I don't know if that's enough or not enough, who knows. I don't know what this is gonna look like. So what I have to do is I need to stand out of the way so I'm not in the frame of the shot. And let me make sure that everything's working. It is. All right, 3, 2, 1. And it did not fire. I didn't hit fire. Sometimes it doesn't hit the button. And so that was more flingage than I expected. Let's try it again. Okay, is it going? Yes, it is going. All right, so here we go. 1, 2, 3. Why is it not working? I fixed it. So I forgot one thing, and that is that to make sure that this smash head doesn't destroy this remote control, I have put little teeny pieces of tape on the button just so it's just tall enough to be pushed, but not so tall that it gets smashed. And one of the pieces of tape fell off. That's why it didn't fire. So we fixed that. We also moved this light just back a little bit because we noticed stuff was flying everywhere a little bit more than we expected. So now I think it should be ready to go. If I take a picture, yeah, it's all good there. So now 3, 2, 1, smash. There is the picture. That is cool. Let's do some water. Let's do that. I'm gonna throw some water in here. And we've got water balloons, we got all kinds of stuff. So Sierra, can I hand you this water? Okay, so we've got that. Sierra Olsen off camera. And here we go. So water splashing. Hope it doesn't get on the camera. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, splash. Oh my gosh. One more time. 1, 2, 3, splash. Oh man. Yeah. And so you can sort of see one of the problems with this is it doesn't fire every time because it sometimes is not exactly aligned, but that's okay. So I'm going to scoop up some of this nastiness, stick that in there. And so maybe we have some more of these things. Sierra, how about some more of that water? So Sierra's gonna bring that. I'm gonna throw this guy in here. I'm gonna add just a touch of water. I'm gonna give this back to you, Sierra. And then we're gonna try one more time. One more time. Okay, it is firing. It's all good. All right, 3, 2, 1, smash. Oh my gosh. It's crazy. All right, I think we need to go to the next level, but to get to the next level, to start breaking glass and all that kind of stuff, we need to get our camera farther away from our smash, our Fling-A-Ma-Jig here. And so to do that, we have a different setup. Let's do that next. As you notice, things are flying everywhere. We want to do some water balloons and all kinds of stuff. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to replace this cable here with a radio. And so I have a PocketWizard Plus 3. I've got 2 of them. And on the one that's going to be on the camera, it has a cable that is essentially the same thing as this other wired cable with a button. So all that means is when we hit the button on this transmitter right here, so if I hit this button, it will be received on this and tell the camera to fire. And so if I point these toward the camera here, you can see if I push the button on the right, it's showing up on the left. So these are just going to communicate wirelessly. And so to make that work, I have created a new smash head. It works the exact same way as the other one did. So it fits that just perfectly. And so we'll be smashing everything down exactly the same, but now it's wireless. That will allow us to get the camera much farther away. And then if needed, we might go to a 70 to 200 millimeter lens so we can get the camera far, far away. Now, the flash over here, we've looked at it. I think it's far enough away. If we need to, we can push it back just a little bit, but it looks like it's out of harm's way because of the way things are splashing and crashing. The other thing that we're using here, 2 things. This guy that's hanging from this bar here, you've probably been wondering what the heck this is. This is so we can suspend, this is a Frio Reach. So this Frio Reach allows us to do things like I can take this little wine glass here, I can mount it upside down like this. We can splash water into it. We can launch heavy objects at it to try to shatter that. We can reposition this to the left or to the right so we can try to shatter this. We have a bunch of very inexpensive wine glasses to try to break them. So that's what this is. The other thing that this is going to do for us is we have some needles. And so the needles, we're going to tape one needle to this, and we'll position this as close as possible right over this, and then launch some water balloons and try to bust those. The other thing, I have another Frio Reach, this guy right here, and what we'll be using that for is my PocketWizard. So to position that on the table, instead of using a piece of tape, what we can do is we can put this on the Frio Reach, and then I can clamp this to the table, and then that will hold this exactly in position so that we get more accurate smashing and we don't miss the button accidentally like we did before on the manual trigger. All right, let me rig all that stuff up, then we're gonna start smashing some more stuff. Time to splash some water. So what I've done here is I have a wine glass attached to this thing that I 3D printed. Now, full disclosure, I have never tested this. It's super glued on there. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. It might fly off, it might break. And so I will be wearing safety glasses just in case this thing crashes or flies off and hurts myself. So I've got these guys on. Our radio triggers are all set, and I have widened the angle of view of my lens, so I've zoomed out so that hopefully we can get anything that happens and water flying around. So I'll have to sort of get out of frame as far as possible. I'll need to Photoshop some of the stuff out, like this is gonna show up. So let's see. If I triggered that, yes, that works. Let me pour some water in here. Might as well take a picture of that. Why not? So we have that. So the thing is, if you look at those pictures I just took, notice this white wall is totally black because it's so far away, and the angle of this light is going to the side. There's no light hitting that. And so instead of putting a black background or something, we can just let this fall into darkness. I will need to get out of the way of this so that I don't show up in the shot. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. Let's see. Okay, it looks like everything's good. Focus is set. Let's see what happens. Oh, that's sort of cool. All right, I'm gonna try it again. Whoa, whoa. Yeah, that came off exactly as I thought. Well, that worked twice. So we got 2 times out of that. Oh, that's hilarious. We have changed things up just a little bit. We have the Frio Reach attached, and on the end of that, I have sticky taped this one of 8 very inexpensive wine glasses. I've got a full face shield for this one. We have a very heavy object here, a little nut that is going to go in this little attachment I made. I will hit that. Hopefully this will fling into that. Blam! Shattered glass everywhere. I've pre-focused on this glass. I think we're ready to go. Face shield on. Everybody's safe. All right. Let's hope it flashes. I'm getting out. 3, 2, 1. Oh! Dang, that was awesome. I'm going to try this at an angle this time. All right. Make sure it's all working. Yep, here we go. Whoa! No cuts, no abrasions. Face shield worked. That is so cool. We have now extended off of the Frio Reach here. There is a long needle here, very sharp needle that I just taped on the end of this. And then we've got water balloons of various shapes and sizes. And this is going to take a lot of luck. So hopefully we can fling this up, and if we're lucky, we'll hit this needle, and if we're lucky, the flash fires when it hits the needle and everything works. So this is gonna be hit or miss, literally. So I'm gonna just try one really fast. We've already pre-focused that. This is a tiny water balloon. Oh! Miss. No, missed. Oh, there we go. It didn't fire? No. We're just gonna keep trying until we get one that works. So big one. Did not fire. Oh! All right, now it's time for something totally radically new. This is Sierra Olsen. She is my assistant. She's going to be helping me out because I need an extra set of hands for what we're about to do. And as you can tell, we did this once before. It's water everywhere. So we've changed the Fling-A-Ma-Jig. So now there is no trigger connecting the Fling-A-Ma-Jig to the camera. It's just this dummy fling head here. And there's no flash. The flash is gone. So what we're trying to do now is we want to freeze the motion with our camera's shutter speed. So I've changed some things in my camera. I've got a Canon R5. I have put it on electronic shutter. When you have this mirrorless camera on electronic shutter, it allows us to shoot about 20 frames per second. Brah! It's a machine gun shooting images, so maybe we'll get the balloon going up. The other thing I did is I set the drive mode to high speed continuous. So Sierra is going to push the button and it's just going to go brrrr and take a bunch of images. I will be smashing this down and hopefully we'll get some frozen images. Now, before we were shooting with a strobe. Now we have a Forza 500 by Nanlite. It's incredibly bright, but to even make it brighter, we've put a Fresnel lens on there and focused it right here. So this is usually used for high-speed video or something, but essentially that's what we're doing. And so my camera, we have it set to electronic shutter, so we can shoot 20 frames per second. We have it set to ISO 800, so we need a little bit more ISO to get the exposure that we want. 1/8,000th of a second. That's really, really fast. Not quite as fast as our strobe, but I think fast enough. And we have it at f4. So we had to let in a little bit more light, but we've focused, pre-focused right here, so it should be okay. I think this is going to work out. You ready? Oh, for safety, I have safety glasses, and Sierra has a full face shield because we are going to try to smash glass as well. All right, are you ready? And this is going to take a little bit of luck. Whew, so much wetness. Are you ready? So 3, 2, 1, go. Awesome, that worked so good. All right, here we go. Ah! No. Oh! Same thing, except for instead of water balloons, we're gonna do some sprinkly things. You ready, Sierra? So Sierra has the full face mask. She's gonna be triggering that. I have my safety glasses on. I'm gonna stay back. We're gonna try smashing this glass. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go! All right, we're gonna try it again. I think you should try it. You ready? All right, smash it hard. I'm gonna go over, I'll trigger the camera.
3, 2, 1.
Oh.
Again?
Why not?
2, 1.
Wow. For the grand finale, we're going to try to smash 2 wine glasses together and see what happens. Full face shield in effect. Sierra is way far away, also wearing safety gear. And so it seems a little dangerous. Let's try to do it without shedding any blood. Are you ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1. Oh, that was really fun. We got some smash crash craziness. Thank you so much, Sierra, for helping me out, taking your life in your own hands and being really safe so nobody got hurt in the making of this video. We played it safe. It was really important. So what did we learn? Well, we learned that we can do some fun, creative things by experimenting with other disciplines. So I played with CAD and 3D printing to create something crazy that then I was able to apply to photography. So I encourage you to do that if you're looking for new ideas. Try going outside the field of photography to try some other things, and you'll be inspired to create some photos. It works. The other thing we learned is that we can freeze motion using high speed of our short duration of our flash. We can trigger a camera remotely using a shutter release or a release of a PocketWizard, something like that. And we also learned that you can use a constant light to do a similar thing using a fast shutter speed. So, you know, lots of stuff here. Now, I think, personally, I'm not done with the Fling-A-Ma-Jig. The more I play with this little toy here, the more I think there could be more things. Maybe it could be servo-controlled. Maybe it could be bigger. Maybe we could trigger cameras in a different way. Maybe we could trigger like a bunch of different cameras. And so when we click it, it's like the Matrix, and you can sort of revolve around. There's so many things I think we could do with the Fling-A-Ma-Jig. And so if you think that I should do some more stuff with the Fling-A-Ma-Jig, make sure you leave a comment in this video. Give it a thumbs up. If we get enough comments and thumbs up, well, we'll do a Fling-A-Ma-Jig version 2, and we'll ramp it up to the next level. And I think the next one will be much larger, much more complex, and much crazier. We'll see. But we had fun on this one. Thanks again, Sierra. If you want to check out more of Sierra's work, I have included a link to her Instagram. You can check that out. She's a wonderful photographer here in Phoenix, Arizona. Also, thanks to Loft 19. That's where we are right now. And so they helped us out with this. Thanks to my brother, Manon, for helping me learn how to do CAD, and Keith Kessler, who helped me learn how to do 3D printing. Don't forget to subscribe and make sure you turn on the bell so you get notifications of all the new videos. Thanks for joining us, and I will see you again next time.